But again, I'm Jacquise from Detroit, and I'm here to share my story. Let's see, where should I begin? I'll begin from the beginning. You said I got 20 minutes. Okay, I had my first drink when I was 12. It was St. Ives beer, a malt liquor, and I have four brothers, four older brothers. And I think at the time they probably thought it was funny, like your kid's sister is drinking beer, and it was like, no big deal. I mean, we hear so many stories of people having drinks earlier, actually earlier than 12. So, I started with a beer, and then that next year, I ended up drinking 2020 Mad Dog and getting drunk off 2020 Mad Dog and ended up pregnant, having my daughter Jasmine. And what's I would say is the most profound thing about that, not the drinking and not even necessarily getting pregnant, but I didn't even know I was pregnant until the day I gave birth to her. The night before I had Jasmine, I had basketball practice and we had a game and I actually scored 42 points. So if you could imagine being hungover and pregnant and having a baby all in the same day, it was quite an adventure, to say the least. But my mom, you know, she she didn't react like I thought she would have. I mean, she had such a standard of excellence, go to school and do well, and being a teen mom really wasn't on our bingo card. We didn't expect that. But in the hospital after I gave birth, she just extended her hand out to me, and we had a handshake literally. And she's like, you know what? If you do your part, I'm gonna continue to do mine. And she did. So I'm 42 with a 28, soon to be 29-year-old daughter. And after I had Jasmine, April 8th, 1996, I went on to high school. And I drank during high school because I was also a star athlete, former junior Olympic basketball player, Catholic League champion, like all the things you can think of for sports. I did that, and we drank in high school. And I ended up with a full ride to the University of Michigan, go blue, and um, where I studied English and American culture. But as an athlete, again, just another organization or culture of drinkers. And I finished Michigan at 21. And then I went to law school and I graduated law school at 27. I passed the bar the first time. And now I joined a profession of drinkers. Now I'm literally being paid great money to drink and then to get other people to drink, right? So you get funds to drink, and then you got to get these clients. And now not only are you a drinker amongst drinkers, you got to get clients and you take them to drink. And no one ever saw it as a problem, right? They like you're young and you're successful and you're doing well and you drink. So what? But a lot of our outings, no matter even if we did sporting things like golf, everything was centered around alcohol. And so now it's not the cheap 2020 Mad Dog, right? Or the St. Ives. I mean, you drinking high end uh, alcohol. I remember one opening day, I drank $6,000 worth of liquor drinking with Detroit Lions players. And no one batted an eye on that 6 grand in one day. And that was just my tab. Um, and you just saying it out loud now is almost ridiculous. I mean, it is ridiculous. Not even almost. It's mind blowing. What you think about what you can do with $6,000 in a year, let alone a 24-hour span. And I'm sure I drank the next day after having a $6,000 bill. So anyway, fast forward through the pandemic, which was challenging. I'm a super extrovert. I love people and I love being out. But when you're in a house and you just working remotely, and I'm not an Amazon shopper, so I wasn't shopping and buying stuff on Amazon, and I'm not a do-it-yourselfer, so I wasn't fixing up and buying, renovating a house. And then just to be frank with you, I was like living with my daughter. I didn't even have a house to renovate. A year ago, I didn't even have a bed to sleep in, because I spent the 2 years of the pandemic drinking like a fifth a day. And that's all I really cared about was alcohol and sex, I would say. And then when you find yourself in a relationship or situationship, or however you want to say it, with someone else who also enjoys drinking and sex as much as you do, you just kind of locked into that lifestyle, if you will. And I would work just enough to be able to drink and get food essentially. And I lost my way. Looks like you're done talking. So we'll lower your hand in 3 seconds. I don't know. I don't know if I should be done talking. I don't think so. Oh, sorry about that. And I had just like lost my way. I was like, who am I? As a lawyer, I went to law school because when I was on public assistance, I had this worker and I needed more money. Excuse me. And I go to get some more help. And it was a sheet of paper. On the left side, it was like numbers 0 to 20, and then on the right side, it was numerical amount. And I asked, for some assistance, and she slid the paper over to me, and she was like, "Well, if you had another kid, I can get you some more help." And I'm like, "If I had another kid, how am I even going to be able to function?" Right? And it was just the craziest thing. And she's like, "Oh, this is controlled by WIC," and I was like, what is that?" And because when I went to Michigan, I initially thought I was going to be an engineer. I studied German, so I studied German while everybody else was studying Spanish, and and I did not like the engineers. They were just way too introverted and just completely different than my personality. So I ended up switching over to LS&A and studying English and American culture because I absolutely love history and I love to read. And analyzing things and thinking critically is just something I've just been naturally gifted to do. As a person, I started reading when I was about 3. Um, so I decided to go to law school, and that's what I did. After I finished Michigan, I went to work for the NAACP Youth and College Division. Was over 7 states, and um, and then I went to law school. I finished law school at 27 and passed the bar the first time, and then I worked for Congressman Hanson Clark, where one of the first things I did was help him draft legislation on WIC and WIC funding. And I know I'm not. The purpose is not to talk about politics, but to talk about what led me into becoming a lawyer, is to be of a service and being able to be in a position to write legislation because I had that lived experience. We have so many people running our country who don't experience the things we have, whether that's healthcare, whether that's alcoholism, whether that's teenage parenting, whether that's housing issues, whether that's food, desserts, and I have grocery stores in the inner city. If you've been born a millionaire, billionaire, and you haven't had to take a bus, it's kind of hard to talk about transportation. If you are a man with a penis and you've never been pregnant, it's kind of hard to talk about issues with a vagina. I mean, as I'm masculine presented and I'm a lesbian, and it's all the experience I have. I mean, I just don't think I'm super equipped to tell a man about his package and parts. But that's just me. I feel like I've shared my story, and it hasn't been 20 minutes, so I don't know if I have to go all the way to 20 minutes. I mean, I have so much more I could share, my personal interests and things like that. However, I can open it up if you're okay with that, Monica, or do you want me to keep going?
Jacquise, you can do whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself, that's fabulous. Or you can open it up and let the women share.
Yeah, it's 189 people. So hopefully people can just kind of get in and we can talk and have an interactive session. I would love to get to know some new people, and through the questions, then we can, talk more about me, and it could just be an organic conversation. So unless it's just we just sitting here quiet, staring at each other, then I'll let the ladies, not let, I would love if the ladies engage with me and we can just have a raw conversation. No topic is off bars for me. I'm an open book.
Okay, thank you so much. And that's great. So I'll go ahead with Adriane. Come on in.
What up, though? And hello from Detroit, Michigan. Thank you so much, Jacquise, for taking the time today to actually share your story. I would love for you just to kind of share with us this change. I know your sobriety day being July 6th of 2020, 2024, and me having the pleasure of knowing you in the AA life. How has you just being introduced? Some of the things I heard tonight. Thank you for being so vulnerable and open. It honestly just warms my heart. This program on how we just internationally can all have the same but similar stories, but not even know each other. So I would love for you just to kind of expound on the fact, how has it been on this sobriety journey? Like I said, I know your date July 6, 2024. How do you feel? How did you get there? Like what made you even start and decide to be sober?
Oh yeah, thanks, Adriane. What up, though? I appreciate you for signing in. You know, we see each other, almost 7 days a week. Some weeks we definitely see each other Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. So it's great to see you again tonight. Thank you for your support. I ended up getting sober because I didn't recognize who I was, and I began to behave in ways that was just blowing my mind. For example, I would drink and then I would throw up, right? Because I would drink on an empty stomach. I never liked to eat and drink. And then I started vomiting profusely blood, right? So instead, I think the normal person would drink, throw up blood, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the doctor or something, No, I was just gonna make another cocktail, right? And then I was blacking out. My mom died, I was blacking out, and I fell in a tub. I woke up, not really realizing I was sore. And then I was in a shower, not in the shower, I was standing brushing my teeth. I was naked. And I look in the mirror and it's like my whole left side is completely black and blue. And I was like, what the fuck happened to me? I was like, oh shit, I fell in the tub, right? And I think I almost broke my ribs. So you got all these different stories. Like, you mistreating people, you hypersexual, you hurting people. And it's like, that's not who I am. And when I got to the point where I couldn't just have one drink, it's like, oh, let's go out, I'll have a drink. It's like, oh no, I done had 5 Long Islands. Most people can't even get past 1 Long Island. I can definitely, I don't even want to think about that now, but then when I was actively drinking, I could definitely throw back 3 Long Islands. I could have some shots. I could probably do a 6-pack of beer. And, and this is in one sitting. We're not talking about a weekend. This is like one sitting of drinking. So yeah, I came in July 6th because my sobriety date though is February 17th. So this Friday it'll be 11 months for me. And I just prayed to God, like, God, please come and help me, because I'm so used to saving and helping other people, and I couldn't do it myself. So I literally just begged God to take the desire and taste out of my mouth. And Super Bowl weekend, he did. I just woke up and it was just like, I'm not drinking. And then like a week went by, and my stomach started healing. I got some Prilosec and got some medication. And then I started having the desire to eat. And I was like, oh, that's different. I don't really be hungry. And then my sleep began to start to regulate, and things just began to shift, because I really was in in a catatonic state, just on the couch. And I had someone recognize that I was in a really dark place, and she's like, yeah, something's not right. She was working over in London on a set of Wicked. And she's like, come hang out in London. I think people around me who was close was like, yeah, you teetered in a dark place, and I don't know if you can come back from it. And I wasn't really sure either, but it was a question that my therapist had asked me. I've been in therapy actively now for a year, as of January 3rd. She's like, parents, they'll do anything for their kids. They'll take a bullet, they'll die for their kids. And she asked me, she said, but are you willing to live for Jasmine? And I was just stumped by that question, because I hadn't thought about that. Damn. I didn't want to kill myself, but I was really having thoughts like, you know what, if I didn't wake up tomorrow, I'll be all right with that. Yeah, so hopefully that answered your question, Adriane.
Thank you so much. And Super Bowl, Detroit Lions. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
What up, though? Adriane Mays, wanting to take a moment on this January 13th, 2025. Jacquise, the Purifoy experience, today speaking in the Women's International Meeting, amazing. The education of your story, just being an open, honest angel. It's thy will be done, not ours. It's God's divine order. We have to keep going, like you say, while the miracles happen. Everything happens for a reason, but my friend, you're exactly where you are supposed to be today. And inspiring 182 women in your story, in your testimony. I thank you for sharing, being you. And it's funny how God works. Like I said, it's my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated's Founders Day today. But you're a part of my Founders Day. I know you're not a soror or a part of a team, but you're a part of my team. I thank you. I thank God for you, my angel. I can, I will, I must. Let's go. What up, though, Detroit? Deuces.